Joe Keegan in 5. And starting alongside in number 31 out of 31P out of Fremont, it's Joey, I'm probably going to mess up this name, Joey Passach. Joey Passach in car number 31P. If I messed it up now, I'll try to get it straight by feature time. Next up in car number 5I, the driver is John Ivy from Fremont, Ohio. And alongside in 31W, Paul Weaver. Paul Weaver in 31W. And finally, starting on the tail in car number 22, it's Clay Kime. Clay Kime from Fremont, Ohio. 5 cars, 4 laps. The Press Econo Sprints Trophy Dash. The leader in 5 is Joe Keegan. Keegan in 5. But here comes car 31, Paul Weaver to challenge. Now Weaver out front. Paul Weaver the leader. Joe Keegan second. John Ivy now third. Now up to third in car 22, Clay Kime. Clay Kime is third. White flag, Paul Weaver. A good race for second between Joe Keegan and Clay Kime. Your winner will be Paul Weaver. Second goes to Joe Keegan. Finishing third, Clay Kime. Fourth, John Ivy. And fifth, Paul Weaver. Now, fifth was Joey Passach. Sorry about that. So again, your winner, car number Heckman. Heckman at 17. Outside of him, in car number 74, the driver is Ken Sward. The second row driver of car 73, Randy Sward, in that car on the inside of the second row. And outside, your fast qualifier in the limited sportsman division this evening, Jim Cruz. Jim Cruz in car number 9. So we understand that the fast qualifier, Jim Cruz, drew a number 10 out of the hat for the inversion on the feature. That means he'll start 10th in that feature event, and the 10th fastest qualifier will start on the pole. So the inversion fill a number 10, meaning Jim Cruz will start 10th in the feature race. So your fastest 4 limited sportsman qualifiers, 4 racing laps. Heckman, Sward, and Cruz. The leader is Sam Heckman. Second place, a tight battle between Ken and Randy Sward. Halfway this time. And now Randy Sward clears himself of his brother Ken and goes to work on the outside of Sam Heckman. They'll get the white flag this time by starter John Knuckles. Randy Sword looks high, looks low. Sam Heckman hangs on to that lead. Here comes Randy on the outside, but it'll be too little, too late. Your winner, Sam Heckman. Coming home from second, it's Randy Sword. Third is Ken Sword, and fourth, Jim Cruz. So the lineup for the first Limited Sportsman Heat Race: George Glick in 37, Buddy Townsend in 75. The second row, 53, is Russ Bob in 72, Craig Parker. Row number 3, Dennis Kelly in 31, Charlie Osborne in 02. Then comes Bill Wellman and Mike Carroll in car number 12. Again, the car number 12 for sale, we understand. And finally in 71, the driver, Jim Sawyer. Eight laps for the Limited Sportsman first heat race. George Glick out to that early lead in that car 37. Russ Bob in 53 runs second. But here comes Bob on the inside to take over the lead. Russ Bob, George Glick, Dennis Kelly, your front three. Craig Parker is fourth in car 72. Now Glick slips in 37. Dennis Kelly moves up to second spot. Halfway. Jim Sawyer with a spin on the front stretch. He's off the racetrack, now back on. Your leader is still Russ Bob. White flag this time for Russ Bob. Dennis Kelly begins to chip away at his lead. Dennis Kelly closes in car 31, but I don't think he'll have enough time. The winner of the first heat race, Russ Bob. So the first heat race win of 1992 for Russ Bob in car number 53. Russ from Beaver Creek, Ohio. Sponsors on his car include John's Auto Parts, Bales Racing Supply, Shorty's Garage, Airway Motors, Vintage Racing Memorabilia. Now line up for the second Limited Sportsman Heat Race. Starting on the pole at 27, it's Jerry Buck, who won the feature 2 weeks ago. Outside of him at 26, Gary Carter. The second row, your first and second place finishers in the feature last week, Donnie Gregory in number 2, and 20, Mike Brown. Next up, it's Robbie Dean in car number 11 and Mike Rush in 98. Both drivers running late models also tonight. Then comes Bob Justice, Joe Hill, Robin Pennington, Jim Kidd, and Zero Hill in car number 0. Again, 8 laps for your limited sportsman second heat race. Carter the leader in car 26. Carter out front. Mike Brown is second. Third, Jerry Buck, but now Mike Rush tries to move on the outside of Buck. Mike Brown now challenging heavy on the outside of Carter, halfway. Mike Brown with an advantage down the backstretch, and he's the new leader in car number 20. The white flag out this time for Brown. Now Don Gregory Jr. challenges Jerry Buck for that third spot. The winner will be Mike Brown in 20. Starting first in K5, that's Joe Keegan. Joe Keegan, K5. On the outside of that row, in car number 2, Brian Neeb. The second row, in car number 99, the driver is Craig Scharfenberg in 99, and alongside in 55, Butch Schroeder in 55. Next up, it's 31W. That's Paul Weaver in 31W. And outside of this, the third row in number 1, Russ Adkins from Mansfield. Then we've got 58T, Bob Thomas from Jeromesville, Ohio. And car number 119, Brian Prater from Willard, Ohio. So that's your lineup. 8 cars for your first sprint car heat race. Cars, 8 laps. Actually 9 cars. Wonder if I counted them right here. Let's see. 105 cars in addition. Oh, also an additional starter car 105 I didn't catch before. That's Wayne Buckingham Wayne Buckingham in 105 from Plymouth, Ohio. So 9 cars, 8 laps. Joe Keegan and Brian Neeb lead them around. 8 laps for the Press Econo Sprints. Paul Weaver with an inside move. He's right behind Joe Keegan. Weaver on the outside of Keegan for the lead. Paul Weaver, your leader. Joe Keegan is second. Third in number 55, it's Butch Schroeder. Paul Weaver, Joe Keegan second, a good race for that. We just caught Weaver at 13:65, the last lap, 13:65. Joe Keegan is second. But now car 55, Butch Schroeder second. He gets around Keegan for that second spot. Butch Schroeder in 55, up to second spot. Your leader is 31W, Paul Weaver. Weaver now encounters lap traffic. Butch Schroeder second. Up to third spot now is Bob Thomas. White flag that time for Paul Weaver. Weaver down the backstretch in 31. Second place is car 55. And your winner, the one guy who won the dash also, Paul Weaver. Finishing second is 55. Butch Schroeder. Third in 58, Bob Thomas. And fourth in 119, Brian Prater. Starting on the pole in car number 17, it's Dan Willey from Fremont. Dan Willey. Alongside of him in car number 5I, John Ivy. John Ivy in 5I. The second row in car 71, the driver is Bill Kralik. Bill Kralik from Fostoria. And outside of Kralik in 63D, that's David Rice. Dave Rice in 63D. Next up, we've got 31P. 31P is Joe Pash. Joey Pash in 31P. And car 22, driven by Clay Kime. Next up, we've got car number 4, Joe Tadeo from South Amherst. And finally on the tail, R4, Mark Pridemore from Huron. Mark Pridemore in R4. I, second row, 71, Bill Kralik, and 63, Dave Rice. Then comes 31, Joe Pash, and car 22, Clay Kime. And finally in the last row, car 4 is Joe Tadeo and Mark Pridemore in R4. 8 laps. Willie the leader. John Ivy is second. Clay Kime now moving in 22. Kime is second. He's moving on Willie. Clay Kime in 22. Kime, the current point leader, he moves his way around Dan Willie. John Ivy is third in car 5I. Clay Kime, your leader, he turned a 13.69 the last lap. Second, Dan Willie. Third is John Ivy. White flag this time for car 22. Clay Kime. Your second place car rounding turn 4 now. That's Dan Willie. And the winner of the second heat race, Clay Kime. Good race for second spot. Dan Willie in 17 will run second. John Ivy is third. 71, Bill Craig finishes fourth. So I'd say those are the two cars to watch in the feature. Clay Kime, the winner of this heat race, running very similar lap times to Paul Weaver, who won the first heat race. Outside of Dan Eves. Halfway. Tim Ice the leader from Doylestown, but Robbie Dean now tries to make his way on the outside of the Iceman. White flag this time. It's Tim Ice, the outsider, on the inside. Five-time track champion Robbie Dean on the outside. It'll be close. Robbie Dean the winner. Let's hear it from Darby-Dale, Ohio, Robbie Dean. In the late model class, starting on the front row in car number 12, Benny Dean, and alongside in 39, Randy Maynard Jr. The second row consists of Larry Harrison 4 and car number 1, Terry Humphrey. Next up, two street stock graduates in car 23. It's Danny Brown and number 51, Bobby Fye. Then comes Gene Harsh in 04 and 79, Cal Bush. And finally on the tail in number 6, Gary Williams. 10 laps. Keep in mind tonight, And every night at the Speedway, the racing action being videotaped by Penstroke Video Productions. So if you're interested in a videotape of tonight's or any night's racing action at the Speedway, see the young lady behind the grandstand with Penstroke Video Productions. And while you're down there, check out all the merchandise available and the TBS Motorsports trailer. Dean and Maynard lead the field around 10 laps for the first heat race. Randy Maynard fights back on the outside. 2 laps this time. Gene Harsh with a spin in car 04. Harsh in 04. Car 51, Bobby Fye spun to try to avoid him. He just got Larry Harris 4th and Danny Brown 5th. 7 laps to go. And Humphrey to the outside of Denny Dean for the lead. Your leader now, Terry Humphrey in car number 1. Terry Humphrey. Second, a good race between Denny Dean and Danny Brown. Also Larry Harris. Way out front is Humphrey. Your winner, Terry Humphrey. Second goes to Danny Brown. Third is Larry Harris. 4th, car number 12, Denny Dean. And 5th, Randy Maynard Jr. Starting first in car number 16, it's Mike Simpson, and alongside car 98, Mike Rush. The second row is Lonnie Rush Sr. in 83, and 26, Bill Cantley. Then comes number 59, Burgess White, and 5 is Dick Dunleavy Jr. And the last row, car 92, Donnie Renner, and number 61, Mike Ward. 8 racing laps, make that 10 laps for the late model second heat race. Mike Rush. Second now is Lonnie Rush in 83. Mike Simpson in third is third. And Dick Dunleavy Jr. fourth. They'll complete 2 laps this time by. Lonnie Rush closes in on his nephew, Mike. And yellow flag. We had noticed the previous lap that car 16, Mike Simpson, cross flags halfway this time. Ironically, the car leading the heat race was the car Lonnie Rush drove the last couple of years here at the Speedway. He's got a new car under him, but he can't do anything with the leader, Mike Rush. That lead car, the car Lonnie won the main event 2 years ago in, and your winner from Powell, Ohio, will be Mike Rush. Lonnie finishes second, Dick Dunleavy third, Cantley fourth, and Burgess White fifth. Heavy Hill in 70 outside. In car 35, Tom Idle. The second row, number 44, the driver is Joe DeFelice. And outside in number 12, Donald Parsons III, your fast qualifier. 4 laps for these, your 4 fastest street stock qualifiers. Well, by the way, while you're down there at the Speedway concession stand, check out that buy 2 packs, I think it is, of cigarettes, and get a free Winston hat while supplies last. Winston Racing hat down at the concession stand. Heavy Hill still your leader. Donald Parsons now tries to move on the outside. White flag this time. Heavy Hill still the leader. Here comes Donald Parsons again on the outside. And the winner, Heavy Hill in 70. Second is Donald Parsons. Third, Joe DeFelice. And fourth, Tom Idle. Butcher and James Harding make up row number 1. They're followed in close formation by Mike Waller, make that Ken Waller, and Brian McDowell in row number 2. Then we've got car 41, Brian New, and car 88, Bruce Holmes. Finally, car number 95, that is Gary Forbes. And Tim Rowanback in car number 5. James Harding way out front. Brian McDowell now moving on the outside of Sandy Butcher. McDowell trying to take over second from Butcher. The leader is James Harding. Now Brian New challenges McDowell for second position. Ken Waller is fourth. They'll be halfway this time. Now Brian New outside of James Harding for the lead. Gary Forbes is third in car 95. And the white flag unfurled this time across for Brian New, your leader. Gary Forbes right behind. Brian New almost makes contact down at turn 1. And the winner, Brian New in 41. Gary Forbes is second. Third is James Harding. Fourth goes to Ken Waller. And fifth, car 88, Bruce Holmes. street stock heat race. 89 is Herb Pennington. Alongside of him in car number 93, James Hunt. Second row in 18, Bo Davis. And outside 63, Craig Osborne. For number 3, 69, the driver is Clyde Trowbridge. And 17, Steve Tuttle. Then comes Steve Taylor in 23, 37, Joe Pittenger, and 77, Don Townsend Jr. Another 8-lap event, the second street stock heat race here on Germain Toyota TVS Motorsports Night at the Races. Pennington the leader. Pittenger sideways on the backstretch. He's back underway. Herb Pennington in 89, the leader. Joe Pittenger, the jam car, in 37. 63, Craig Osborne is second. Clyde Trowbridge now up to third, but James Hunt trying to hang on the outside. They'll be halfway this time. Don Townsend Jr. off the racetrack in the infield. Still Herb Pennington, Craig Osborne. Now Clyde Trowbridge on the prowl in 69. Pennington calls it quits in 89. Your new leader is Craig Osborne. Trowbridge inside of Osborne in turn number 1. He stalks the leader down the backstretch. White flag this time. Craig Osborne still the leader. And the winner of this heat race, Craig Osborne. Clyde Trowbridge is second. Third goes to Mike Taylor, and fourth, James Hunt in 93. Wire, and alongside in 25, Bubba Parsons. In row 2, number 36, Jimmy Romans, and outside of him in 27, Dave Dyson. In row number 3, car 87, that's Randall Borman, And car number 30 with a car owner that has a birthday. Becky, happy birthday to her. The driver of car 30, that is Bill Hundley. Next up, we've got car 66, Paul Baker Jr., and car 33, Jim McCauley. Finally, car number 3, Butch McAllister, 8 laps for the third street stock heat event. The leader, Jimmy Romans is second, third Dave Dysinger. Now Butch McAllister all the way from the back of the pack on the outside. McAllister on the move in car number 3. They'll get the halfway signal this time around. Schweier still the leader. And now the inside lane moves. Borman goes underneath Romans, and Baker goes underneath him. Baker now second. Laps to go. And Paul Baker Jr., the new leader. Mike Schweier is second. Randall Borman third. The winner, Paul Baker Jr. Second goes to Mike Schweier. Third, Randall Borman. Fourth is Dave Dysinger, and fifth, Jimmy Romans. Bud Hill to the Speedway office, please. Bud Hill to the Speedway office. We'll have a brief intermission. If you're headed down to visit the little boys' room or to the concession stand, take along your Speedway program. I'll be calling off those lucky numbers in a couple of minutes. In car 22, the driver is Clay Kime. Alongside in 5I, it's John Ivey. The second row in 31W, the driver is Paul Weaver. And alongside in 58, it's Bob Thomas. Then comes 17, Dan Willey, and number 1, that's Russ Adkins. Next up, we've got 55. The driver is Butch Schroeder, and 63D, Dave Rice. In car 71 in the next row, it's Bill Kralik. In car 119, Brian Prater. Then comes 99, Craig Scharfenberg. 31P, that's Joey Pash. Number 2 is Brian Neeb. Number 4, that's Jim Tadeo. Then we got 105, Wayne Buckingham, R4, Mark Pridemore, and K5, Joe Keegan. .105, make that Taddeo. Number R4 is Mark Pridemore and K5 Joe Keegan. 20 laps for the press sprint cars. The Pro Racing Econo Sprint Series 20 lapper. Clay Kahn, your leader. Paul Weaver is second. John Ivey third. Third in 55, Butch Schroeder is third. John Ivey fourth. Now your leader, 31 is second. Again, 22 the leader, 31W is second. Now the front stretch now. Car 55, the white 55 is third. Fourth is car 5I, John Ivey. Second is 31W. 55 is third. Your leader down in turn 4 now, car 22 new. 5 laps to go. Car 31W is second. 5 high with a flat tire. Couldn't get it off the racetrack, so we go yellow. And again, 17, Dan Willie pulls to a stop. Clay Kime, second is Paul Weaver in 31. The third in 55, that's Butch Schroeder. White flag for Clay Kime. And the winner, car 22, Clay Kime. Second goes to Paul Weaver. Third, Butch Schroeder. So let's hear it for all these guys, especially Clay Kime, the winner. Clay Kime, the winner. Starting first in car 20, Mike Brown outside 11, Robbie Dean. The second row, Mike Rush in 98 and 29, Bob Justice. Joe Hill in 70 and Joe Hill in 70 and Robin Pennington make up the next row. Then comes 17, Sam Heckman, and 74, Ken Sword. Randy Sword starts next in 73, and beside him, 9, Jim Cruz, your fast qualifier. The next car number 2, Don Gregory Jr., and car 26, Gary Carter. Then comes Jerry Buck, Mike Carroll, Bill Wellman, Zero Hill, Charlie Osborne, Dennis Kelly. 72 is driven by Craig Parker, 25, Jim Kidd, 53, Russ Bob, 75, Buddy Townsend, 37 is George Glick, and 71 is Jim Sawyer. 30 laps. MR2 pace car turbo pulls off the backstretch. We're ready for a start. Robbie Dean on the outside. Outside, Mike Brown in the inside. Sawyer, the leader, Mike Brown. Pennington makes his move on the outside of Joe Hill. Pennington is fifth. Jerry Buck and Dennis Kelly over in turn number 2. 11 laps complete, 19 to go. Justice moving on the outside of Mike Brown. Halfway. And Sam Heckman in 17. Hard contact over in turn. He's going to have a little racing rheumatism. It'll be sore tomorrow, but Heckman okay in car 17. He's climbing out of the car now. We're Pennington moves up to third now, underneath Bob Justice. And now Pennington to the outside of Mike Brown. Your leader. Now Pennington slows in car number 10. Pennington with a flat tire, it appears. Or it could be something more serious on that. "22 laps completed." To go this time, 5 laps. on the outside. White flag for Robbie Dean. The winner on Germain Toyota Third Base Sports Night, Robbie Dean. Robbie Dean, the winner. Car sponsored by Jim's Body Shop and Towing. And they tell us that car is for... Starting on the pole in car 51, Bobby Fye. Alongside in 04, Gene Harsh. The second row in car 83, Lonnie Rush Sr. And outside in 61, Mike Ward. Burgess White is next, that's car 59, and alongside 26, Bill Cantley. The next row in car 92, it's Donnie Renner, and car number 5, Dick Dunlap Jr. Tim Ice is next, he's in car 65, and car number 9, Danny Eves. Then comes Robbie Dean in number 2, and John Vallow in 21. Next up, it's 23. 23, Danny Brown. 1 is Terry Humphrey. Number 4, Larry Harris. 6, Gary Williams. 39, Randy Maynard. 12, Denny Dean. And 79, Cal Bush. Brings out the yellow. 1 lap complete. By the leader, Mike Ward now second. Dunleavy in 5. Dunleavy and Ward all over the back of Bobby Fye. Nick Dunleavy Jr. Second, Mike Ward. Third, Bill Cantley. Fourth, a close battle between Robbie Dean and John Mello. Halfway this time. 5. Laps to go. Tightens up. Mallow to the inside of Nick Dunleavy. Five laps this time. 5 laps to go. Dick Dunleavy, Mike Ward, Donnie Renner. Dunleavy back underneath feet for second. Mallow still leads. Second is Nick Dunleavy Jr. Third, Robbie Dean. Fourth, Mike Ward. Fifth is Donnie Renner. Ohio's John Vallow. Car sponsored by Burco Trucking and Port City Race Cars. Five-lap feature. Let's see, 88 is Bruce Holmes, 89 Herb Pennington. Then comes Craig Osborne and James Hunt. The next row, Steve Tuttle and Bo Davis. Then we've got, actually Steve Tuttle's a bit out of line. Let's see here, James Hunt, Bo Davis, Craig Osborne, Clyde Trowbridge, Steve Tuttle, Mike Taylor, Joe Pitzer, and Don Townsend Jr., Mike Schweier, Bubba Parsons, Jim Romans, Dave Dysinger, Randall Borman, Bill Huntley, Paul Baker Jr., Jim McCulley, Butch McAllister, Heavy Hill, Tom Idle, Joe DeFelice, Donald Parsons, and Gary Forbes. Five laps for the street stocks. Red flag. Lost the tire on car 23. So the red flag for the errant wheel on the racetrack. The leader is Herb Pennington, second James Hunt. 3 laps complete. Schweier the leader, Herb Pennington second, James Hunt is third. Complete out of 25. up to third spot. Herb Pennington is second. Your leader is Mike Schweier. They'll get the halfway signal this time around. Slows in 89. Pennington off the pace on the backstretch. Whoa, that was close. Meantime, a hot battle for the lead. Mike Schweier in 43, Paul Baker Jr. in 66. As Randall Borman and Bruce Holmes locked together down in turn number 4. Now Paul Baker, the leader, in 66. Mike Schweier back to second. Donald Parsons is third. Still Paul Baker Jr. the leader. Donald Parsons is third. Mike Schweier fourth. James Hunt fifth. Make that Mike Schweier fourth. Third. James Hunt fourth. Five laps to go. This time for Paul Baker Jr. And the winner in 66, Paul Baker Jr. Second is Donald Parsons. Third in 43, Mike Schweier. Fourth, Butch McAllister, and fifth, James Hunt. braving the cold on a chilly night for the NASCAR Winston Racing Series. Again, recapping your feature winners for the evening. The Econo Sprint 20-lap feature, the Professional Pro Econo Sprints, Clay Kime the winner, John Vallow the feature winner in the 35 late model feature, Robbie Dean finished first in the Limited Sportsman 30-lapper, and Paul Baker Jr. takes home the bacon in the 25-lap Street Stock main event. Once again, congratulations to Paul Baker Jr. The car sponsored by Buckeye Cutlery, Mako Auto Refinishing, All City Auto Wrecking, and Cotman Transmission East.